All right. So today we're going to be checking out Mike Hollow's video titled "Let's Talk About the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection Shills." However, we must look at this first. So I told Mike, you better lawyer up, man, because this is getting serious, right? On this particular video that we're about to watch, he says that someone got so upset that I criticized Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection and Digital Eclipse's handling of it, as well as content creators saying that it's great, that the brother said he'd sue me. This is where we're at now, guys. Everyone should want to ride or die like this guy. This person, Barnaby Fontana 7528, reported along the other channels, all curiously mentioning shills right after me, and three others commented on one or two other channels. This is pathetic content, Mel, with an agenda. What's the agenda? Wanting great games? Is that the agenda? Shit. You know, not to have slop. I'm a gigantic Mortal Kombat fan. And if I'm sitting there absolutely disgusted about how things are turning out, you need to ask yourself, well, what did they do? Right? In the same way that Mike's reacted, obviously, to Tekken. He's a massive Tekken fan. And then, of course, you know, with the way that Tekken 8 has been going over the course of its release schedule, he's been very disappointed with certain aspects of how the game has been handled and the team is handling situations and things like that. This is how you invoke change. This is how you hold their feet to the fire. Customer first. I can't express it enough. It's always customer first. It doesn't matter how much you love something, you have got to hold them accountable or they will abuse you. They will always, even the slightest bit, take a chance to possibly abuse you. Not saying like everyone there, right? But if a company can get away with something, a lot of the time they might. I'm sending screenshots of replies, links, timelines directly to Digital Eclipse for them to take appropriate action, right? Man, that shit's funny. Is that your bed, bro? What if that fucking belt falls on your dick when you're asleep? Do you ever think about these things, man? Listen, you gotta think. You gotta think. You know what I'm saying, right? You don't want that. That looks. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, we can't hear anything. There we
Topic
go.
that's flying around right now because of
Here we
Happy
go.
Halloween, guys. Hope everybody is doing okay. So as the title of this video suggests, I'm going to be talking a little bit about this topic that is flying around right now because of the controversy surrounding the Legacy Collection, and that is Mortal Kombat shills. Now there are shills in every community, but we're going to keep it to Mortal Kombat for this one just because it's a new release, and I think we do need to discuss this topic because I'm seeing a lot of names being thrown around and I'm seeing quite over the top comments being sent to these people. And I want to give my 2 cents on this. Now, obviously, if you've seen MK Tom Brady's video, it's kind of touching on that, although I have a slightly different stance to Tom Brady because we did speak about it in private before he uploaded his video. So this is my take on this whole situation. There are a lot of people right now that are very confused at the Legacy Collection situation. Some of these people have not had the opportunity to sit down and play this game. And so they're very confused as to why one side of the conversation is saying that it's perfect and amazing, and the other side of the conversation is saying that it's terrible, abysmal, and shouldn't have been released in this state. Now, I wasn't born yesterday. I don't know exactly who is being paid by WB, NRS, or Digital Eclipse, but I know who is trying to be paid. And then you have the people that just want to enjoy something. You know, a good example of this is some of you guys have seen my sister on here, Ellie, and we go to the cinema sometimes, and she's the kind of person where it could be any kind of film. She'll find enjoyment in it. I'm not that kind of person. I'll watch the film and I'll critique it from top to bottom. And she can't stand that. Sometimes she stops me mid-review and she just says to me, Mike, can you just shut up? Can you just enjoy the film? But
Listen, man, I gotta side with your sister here, right? As listen, I love movies, I really do, but like it's like when people talk during a movie, right? You're just looking at him going, I'm about to commit a hate crime, right? You just better shut up, right? Don't talk. When some people, and that's fine. I'm not dogging on the guy, maybe a little bit, but like sometimes because it's such an escape, you just kind of like you just got to let it flow through you, like the force. Um. So yeah, sorry, bro. You just got to enjoy it. You just got to enjoy the movie, man.
But we're all different. She's the kind of person that can go in there and she knows that there's a whole host of problems, but she just appreciates it for what it is. I'm not that kind of person. And so when you hear me being harsh towards this game, it's simply because I am actually critiquing every area of it. There are some people who are turning around and saying that it's perfect, knowing full well that this is a collection much like the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection that is lacking modes. This has come out 8 years after the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. So it should have more than that. Games that come out afterwards from the same developer should have more than the predecessor. But it doesn't, it has less. And somehow these people think it's perfect. Now that's fine to take that stance. I understand the mentality of these people. They just want to sit down and play some Mortal Kombat. They are tired of listening to YouTubers like me critique everything, tear everything down, and ruin the fun for everyone. And I do have to say that I think some of you give me
I'm confused, right? Because this is the mentality that has been around for the longest as old as time. You're ruining my fun. Listen, if a grown ass man is taking away your enjoyment of something, that's not the grown ass. That's not the YouTuber's fault, right? Nobody asked you to click on the video. Nobody forced you to watch it, right? And when you get comments like that going, "Oh my god, stop ruining everyone's fun." Am I just sneaking into everyone's house, into their lounge room or bedroom, and as soon as they pick the controller up to play the game, I smack them across the head and say, "Put that shit down"? Of course not. These people act like they've been force-fed your content. Okay? If you aren't wanting to see these opinions, then you don't have to watch the video. But these people act like they're forced, and now they're just like, they're just so like enraged. How dare you force this upon me? I fucking hate that, man.
way too much credit and way too much power. I don't have the sway or the influence to ruin the reputation of one game. That's disingenuous to suggest, and you know it's not true. What is happening here is there is a general consensus amongst the player base that feel like they have been shorthanded by this game and by the developers. It is not me. I'm not ground zero. Yes, my videos might get a decent amount of views and my name might get around when these conversations pop up, but I don't have the power to sway an entire scene. It's insulting to the people when you say that because you try to make out like I'm a puppet master and I have all of these people on a string. These people are adults. They make their own decisions. I also didn't tell anybody to not go out and buy it. I completely understand why people would want to buy this game. It's just not something that I would do. And last time I checked,
I actually cancelled my collector's edition last night. All right. Like I think I spent, because like conversion rate, I think it was close to $300 Australian, and I just cancelled it. And I had a deluxe on pre-order at EB Games. So I'm going to cancel that today. It was only a small deposit, but the other one, the limited run games, I paid in full. So yeah, I'm out. Right, I got my Steam copy, and that's all I need. I'm sorry, I'm not supporting it in that capacity. Right. Now, it's fine if people want to. Like, that stuff might be cool to have, sure. But I'll look at it once. I'll go, yeah, this is cool. And then that'll be the end of it. Because I really, because sometimes you just have to, you just have to put your foot down and go, no, that's it. I'm not. No, they're not getting. Imagine them getting over like $400 or $500 of my money. And this is what we got. Right? That's not acceptable.
the channel's called Mike Hollow. These are my thoughts, they're not yours. You listen to my thoughts and then I respond to you in the comment section. So if you want me to be honest, then you should have no problem with what I'm saying. I'm not going to lie about the situation. Now, like I said, I know who is trying to get paid. I know who's trying to get into good graces of these companies. It's very obvious. This game has so many issues online and offline that for somebody to say that it's perfect as a content creator is insane to me. Now, I'm not going to name anybody because I'm not here to shame people. I understand people want to make their money, they want to get their bag, they want to get flown out, they want to get early codes. If you're doing content creation full time, then the last thing you really want to do is piss off a developer. Now, as I said, I won't name names, but I know plenty of content creators in this space, in the fighting game space, that have told me to my face or online that we wish that we could talk about certain situations, whether it's MK, whether it's Tekken, whether it's Street Fighter, whether it's Guilty Gear, whatever it might be. We wish that we could speak about certain situations, Mike, but we can't, because if we do, we won't be invited to do X, Y, and Z. That is on my life. I've been told that, both in person and online. And so I can't get angry at these people because some of these people are doing it full time. They want access to these things. And I would encourage people to not get angry at these people. Instead, I would ask people to be rational about how they spend their money. How many times are we going to be duped out of our money before we realize to not pre-order things? Mortal Kombat has completely lost any trust with me. I will no longer pre-order a single thing from them. I'm not saying I won't buy their games, but in terms of pre-ordering, in terms of collector's editions, those days are over. And I don't need a content creator to tell me that. It doesn't matter how many of these guys pop up on YouTube and say that this game is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There is enough proof online that exposes this game for what it is. And as a matter of fact, rather than just talking about it, let me show you some of that proof.
Wins. Round 2, fight.
Yeah. I had that the other day.
Wins.
Yeah, listen to this. Here we go. Listen to this. Holy shit. That's so bad, man. On a fucking character select screen of all things, you know. I can get on Fightcade right now, right? Or Arcadesia. Or load up a match through my own fucking collection, right? Play online and not have these audio issues. And this is for free. Right? I'm not no whiz. I'm not no genius, right? I'm using the tools that are available to me to piece these things together and allow it, or using things that have already been made. And how the fuck, like, this is done for free. Maybe there's a conversation, you know, like when it comes to, like, you know, when something is made with passion, right? Versus, you know, corporate entities pushing certain things. And I'm not saying that digital clips aren't passionate, because they definitely are. At least I know, like with Steven, he definitely is. But I do wonder that maybe perhaps we should have had some sort of like beta, an open beta, not exclusive access. Let everyone test this shit across a range of different platforms. And then that way they can get the feedback before it launches. Because MK is a big IP, even if it's the old games. Right? Oh my god. You can see I'm dying inside. Actually, my camera's behind me. You can't see me. Playing back in the 90s. Right. This is like playing on a 30. You know what this is? This is. They have emulated playing on a 56K modem.
Like, let me first try this before I say anything. Well, now that I played it today and I got to try it, did not think it would be this bad, but it's absolutely horrendous. Like this may be one.
This
of
is
the
Rio, by the way, in
worst
case you can't
fighting
see the
games
thing.
I've ever bought on launch as a product.
Now, I understand Digital Eclipse was going for the authentic 90s feel, but I didn't literally think that they were going to replicate what it felt like when you scratched one of your PS1 discs. That is what these games look like, both offline and online. I know some people are saying they haven't experienced the stuttering, but too many people are saying that it's happening. And I'm sorry if that annoys you to hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to X content creator or this content creator over here and they tell you that it's perfect and you get annoyed at them after you have seen the evidence, that is on you. I can't get annoyed at people for trying to feed their families. I really can't. I used to take this stance. I used to say the shills, the shills, the shills. But there's already not that much money to be made in the fighting game scene. The last thing I'm going to do is try to take away from somebody's bread or hurt them financially. It's at the point now where it's happened enough with this franchise that you don't need somebody to tell you to buy or not to buy it. We should now be at the point. And fair play to some people. Shout outs to CJ, who has said this before. The only way these guys are going to learn is if we stop pre-ordering products. It is now on them to prove to us that they can release a product that is an absolute dog shit. And again, it's not just me saying that. There are enough people online saying this. Sorry, Mortal Kombat community, but no matter what Digital Eclipse says, the input delay and the awful netcode will never be fixed. If it was never fixed in the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, the Sam Show Collection, or TMNT over the last 8 years, MK Legacy Collection is cooked. Now, yesterday when I showed off the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, that wasn't me saying that the game is excellent, that it's a good game. That was simply me showing you that even in its bad state, they still had ranked and lobbies. So this is a downgrade. Not only does this game function like the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection with glitches and stuttering, but you can't even go online and get stutter. MK Legacy is a Jackal and Hyde. Offline modes are pretty good. Documentary is all well and good too. Online wasn't very well thought out. Having less features than modern MK1 is an impressive feat. Didn't think it was possible. Jukebox still makes waiting for a match better than MK1 though. Less features than MK1.
Well, the problem too, this is where like Digital Eclipse need to look at what Capcom did and go, yes, we need to, I don't care if they copy the formula. We need to choose their games and still be able to do other stuff, whether you're sitting there watching the documentary, playing the arcade games or whatever other games are in there. Let us queue up for multiple games and then go about our business inside the game. But I'm just looking at my fighting game collection right now on Steam, right? And I said this the other day, that games like you've got Breakers, the Breakers collection, which is a very, minuscule niche fighting game that came out with online and lobbies. Now, there may not be anyone playing it, but it's in there, right? Rumblefish Rumblefish Plus 1 and 2. Again, these games have online lobbies, all that sort of stuff. Are there people playing it? Probably not, but they're still in there. And these are tiny games. These are fucking tiny ass games. And since like one of the main reasons why I created the channel was to showcase like an archive of fighting games, but also represent the PC side. Because the PC side lags behind everything else. And so I pretty much buy every fighting game. Because I love the genre. It's just a fun genre. The worlds, characters that are created and stuff. Yeah, they might be shit gameplay-wise, but I have some fun with them, right? But after a while, you start to see that, yeah, there are some staples that should be in there on launch. Right? Casual play, private match, ranked perhaps, definitely lobbies, things like that. You know, all of these things are in there because they know that, well, once people play a bit online, there's a majority of people that will also go, offline will go online to play. Just standard, right? And my mate Dragoon, I've said this a couple of times, my mate Dragoon, who's been fighting since the 90s, competed online and in tournaments, in arcades, he refunded his Steam copy yesterday. This guy has been as excited as I have for this. And he refunded. When you start losing OG people, you still have to you need to ask questions about what you've done wrong, you know, as a company and the way that you've approached this.
That is a feat. That really is. So what is Foxy an MK hater now? How many games do you have to hate on before you're classified an MK hater? I'm playing on an old HP Office PC. The individual games play fine, I guess. Mythologies has input lag, but when I'm cycling through the game and legacy menus, the whole screen freaks out and shows me all the different graphics that can be displayed at once. Every time I read something from somebody, it's always a new glitch. Dude, I bought it to play offline only with the boys and the input lag is insane. Insanely disappointed and really wish I could get a refund. So for all of you that are saying that you only purchased it to play offline and they don't care about the online stuff, good luck with that. I played it myself personally today. I don't have the game, I'm not buying it. Someone asked me earlier today, will I buy it if they add stuff into it? I'm kind of on the fence. On one hand, I wanted to, and I wanted to support this direction for Mortal Kombat in the hopes that this is the sort of atmosphere that we would be getting, but when I said that, I was under the assumption that the game was going to be working properly on release. I think it's kind of scummy to ship this game out in the state that it's in. You might be okay with people taking your money and giving you the bare minimum, but the vast majority of people are not okay with those things. And it's fine to point that out. As consumers, as customers, we should be treated with a certain level of respect if they want our money. Horrible. Input delay, sound delay, AI meshy background, rollback jitters, rematch or going to the main menu glitches, offline bugs all over the place. And then
So so people keep saying it's AI. Apparently one of them at Digital Eclipse or something pointed out that they don't use AI in the thing. So I don't give a fuck if they use some sort of like AI rendered scale for a menu background, right? And I know what they're talking about. They're talking about the 3D backgrounds that are scrolling past and they merge into each other. Listen, I don't give a fuck, right? It looks cool. Like the menus in the game look really good. They're really crisp, they're sharp, they're clean, very easy to access, navigate. But again, on my PC, like I'm not having any issues. Obviously, other people are, right? So just because I don't have any issue, that doesn't mean to say, well, and I see this a lot on PC. Sometimes PC people go, well, if I'm not having a problem, you're just making it up. You're just dreaming it up. Oh, you're overblowing it. You're over exaggerating. No, you can't do that. There's like an infinite amount of configurations out there. You can't just dismiss people's issues. One of my boys on the Discord, Neo, right? He can't play the arcade ROMs, the arcade versions on his PC, his desktop PC, because it comes up with black screen. He can play all the other games fine, but when he puts it onto his laptop, which is far less powerful, it's fine, right? So it's not just the online thing. There is a quality and assurance drop for this entire collection across the board. And as I said, I've been into emulation for almost 30 years. I am used to emulators. I know how they work. I know all the functionality. I know about all the different types of like visual fidelity, you can choose on or off, all that sort of shit, as well as things like being able to connect online and play. And I can promise you that my emulators on my fucking computer are doing a better job than what Digital Eclipse are doing right now with some of this stuff. Yeah, they made a great improvement to MK Trilogy with their load time reduction and stuff like that, but is that all that happened? Like, is that it? Like, was that the big, the big show, okay, like centerpiece? Because yeah, that's cool, I guess, but then I've been playing the PC version of Trilogy for like 20, 30 odd years. So, I got kind of used to no load times and stuff like that. Right. So yeah, like, yeah, that's cool. But, given now that we've got the collection coming out, what was the time spent on? I appreciate the documentaries, sure. But once you watch them, you're done. Outside of like, maybe people want to go back and refresh it. I didn't pay $60 odd just for a documentary. I paid $60 for a whole package. Right?
Fate posted this. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal to me, but I'm adding this into the video because I know there's a lot of old heads who are very particular with how these games are presented because, there's loads of versions of Mortal Kombat, there's loads of like mods or hacks, and so they're going to pick up on things that I would never pick up on. And so Fate said, I'm sorry, but what the F is this? The original MD Genesis did not have an audio cue change for finishing your opponent. Side-by-side comparison, did they sell us an actual hack?
Finish him.
So I'm gonna clarify this because I actually had Steven reach out to me. Right, once I posted that clip on Twitter, and my video is actually still up on YouTube, but I amended it with a comment below because Steven messaged me and he said it's actually not a hack; it's actually revision 1 of the Mega Drive Genesis version. And I said, well, where was it sold? Like, was this where was this sold in the world? Because I know Americans that have the same version that I got in Australia, right? And he said that they were going through like essentially the absolute best versions to get, and this was revision 1. Now I know revision 1 I believe is being used for Mortal Kombat Arcade Edition, the actual ROM hack for the Mega Drive Genesis emulators or whatever, or actual machines themselves that you can get as well. But I've never heard of this version before. Like, this version was the one that was sold in Australia, and obviously it was sold in America, right? So where was this being sold, right? Like, so that's kind of like, it's like, this is so again, something that Capcom does. And I just wanted to clarify that because that way, you know, people are getting the right information. Like I said, I've already amended it on my channel with the comment. But the thing is, though, that like, this is one thing I like with Capcom is that they give you different revisions. Yeah. Now, maybe one revision you can only use for online because it's the most balanced, which I think is what Steven was saying with this particular one for MK1 Genesis Mega Drive. But give us the other ones, because my ears, when I hear the second one here, I just want to tear my face off, right? Because this is so ingrained into my DNA that I simply cannot handle it, hearing it differently, right? Because this is one of the fucking games, I'm getting mad now. This is one of the games I've been looking forward to playing. And all I hear when I hear that audio cue is test your might, because that is the test your might audio cue. In Mortal Kombat 1 on the Mega Drive, when you get to test your might, listen, that's the same audio cue. And they just, whoever did it, right, decided to go, okay, we're going to add that in to emphasize the time when you do a fatality. And it's so jarring for anyone that's played traditionally the proper retail releases, at least, you know, pretty much anywhere in the world. In fact, I went straight onto YouTube, and one of the first playthroughs I found for MK1 Genesis was this, like the standard one that I grew up with. So again, it's like, look, you want to keep one for online play for balance, sure, but give us maybe the other revisions. And I did mention that to him, but he said obviously priority right now is other things, and I know what he's saying, like online and stuff, right? But I personally would love to have other revisions in there, because this kind of killed it for me.
And again, this isn't something that I would have even picked up on, to be honest with you. Like I said, I was very young when these games came out. I wasn't very good at them, and I wasn't paying attention that much. But it's these little things in a legacy collection that is meant to preserve the history of the old Mortal Kombat that do matter, because that's not accurate to what it was. That is not what the guy played back in the day. So you're going to see these reviews from YouTube. You're going to see these comments on Twitter saying that the game is perfect. You're going to see IGN saying that it's great. You're going to see people saying that this is a masterful collection. I've seen very big YouTubers saying that this is the definitive collection for retro games. And they're lying. All of the people that are saying this are liars. But I'm not angry at them. I'm not angry at them at any stretch of the imagination. The reason why is that a lot of them do this full time. Getting early access to a game means that you can promote your channel. More people are going to come and look at your channel because you have the footage early. Being on the good side of these companies means that you might get flown up, you might even get paid, you might even end up on a commentary desk one day. Being in the good graces of these companies can open doors for you. So I'm not angry at any of them, but we should all have enough common sense that if we see the ground opening up and Lucifer comes out of the ground and says, hey, I'm Lucifer, that you should be able to turn around to people and say, Lucifer's just come out of the ground. How you can open up this game, see all of the nonsense that is going on, and then turn around and say it's perfect is beyond me. And whenever I open these discussions live on my channel, not a single person in the, what, 2.5 years that I've been criticizing Mortal Kombat, has come onto the panel and given meaningful pushback. Not a single one of my points has been pushed back on. Not one person. And when we do invite people on that say they're going to come on, they bail last minute, or when they do show up, they start stuttering. They don't know what they're talking about. Just recently, somebody said that all you do is lie and be negative, Michael. And so I said to him, where have I lied? Show me a video. 40 minutes later, we got nothing. And I'm still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me where I lied. Now, if you want to walk around with rose-tinted glasses when it comes to these things, that's fine. No problem. I'm not telling people where to spend their money. I'm simply giving you the facts. You can do with those what you will. It's your money. I don't care. But you're going to get the facts, whether you like them or not. And if you don't like them, then this is not the channel for you. If you're looking...
I do agree with Mike. Like, obviously, like, these people they're not doing anything illegal. You know, everything is I mean, it's, you know, it's not like they're allowed to do it. You know, it's a free country. They can do that. I guess that it comes down to like that sort of like that moral issue of like, you know, if you knew something, right? Like for example, like, you know, I'm trying to think of an example that probably wouldn't be too overblown, but it's like, you know, if your mate knew a girl, right? And you go, oh, she's really hot, she's beautiful, I'm going to pursue her. And your mate knows that she's fucked every dude in the village, including him, right? But he doesn't say anything. He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, she is beautiful. She's great looking. Yeah, she's really sweet and kind. She's probably got shit down there that looks like a busted BLT, but whatever, right? Like, so it comes to me. It comes down to like, if you're withholding something, you know, that could be very impactful to my purchase. It's not illegal. It's not wrong. And these people can do whatever they want. I don't want them fired or anything like that. But I think it comes down to, it's like, well, is it, so I don't know if Michael watched this, but here's my question. Is it a moral issue? Is it a, do you know what I mean? Like if something's withholding something from you that can really sway your opinion, what do we call that? Is that a moral issue? Is it, yeah, I don't know, but that's what bugs me the most. I just want to hear the whole kit and caboodle. I want to hear the whole thing and then make a decision based on the good and the bad, right? And when people withhold the bad, right, because for their own needs of financial gain and doors opening and stuff like that, well, they're not living in a vacuum, though. Does that make sense? They're not in a vacuum here. They are influencing others. Because there are, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be rude here, there are a lot of people out there who are very easily influenced. Or all they want to do, they're toxic. Yeah, they're not toxic, so they're positive sponges. So all they want to do is soak up the positive. They never even want to hear anything negative. Right, so they only gravitate to things. Oh, they're saying nice things about it. They're saying nice things. Oh, that's wonderful. That's what I want to hear, right? And that's fine. People could do that too. I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just in the minority here, but I kind of just want to know the good and the bad, you know. And I think, to be honest, that when people are honest, I think whether you like them or not, and I've said this about Mike and myself and many others, totally okay, that even if they don't like your opinion, at least they know where you stand. I think that's better than not.
Looking for somebody to sprinkle fairy dust on top of this turd, that is not me. Now, someone said to me, is there nothing you find cool about this collection? And I said, yeah, I already mentioned it. Got a jukebox. Old MK music is absolutely peak. I wish that we would get a jukebox in the modern Mortal Kombat games because the music is shit now. If you had a jukebox in these modern Mortal Kombat games, it would solve so many issues when it comes to general atmosphere in the game, but they don't have them. However, the Legacy Collection does. Apparently, it's missing Sub-Zero Mythologies, which is a massive shame because as bad as that game is, the music is fantastic. Although
actually, the music is amazing. It's probably one of the best MK soundtracks. And when I was playing through Special Forces yesterday to get the achievement, the actual soundtrack is actually pretty good. Right, so the game is basically shit, right? Actually, it's a lot better when you unlock everything and just run around as a madman. But the soundtrack is actually not bad.
I'm not 100% certain. I just heard that from certain people. So the jukebox is there. Jukebox is great. That's a fantastic inclusion. Never going to shit on people for liking that. I'm a fan of that. When you boot up the game, it's got this awesome loading screen, or like this waiting screen, where it's like going through different 3D sculptures of Mortal Kombat characters, and it just looks like Mortal Kombat, even without the music, which is also really good. You look at it and you think, yeah, that's the atmosphere that I want for Mortal Kombat. When you go into the crypt, the documentarian media in there is great.
Yeah.
What they have compiled in there is awesome. The one problem with that is that it's all going to be on YouTube in a matter of days, and I would have seen all of it. So I can stare at the start screen as much as I want. I can listen to the music, which I can also listen to on YouTube Music. And I can watch the documentaries until I'm blue in the face. But what then? What do I do then? You want me to sit on a stuttering game and then come on here and lie to people and tell people, well, you know, things are coming out down the line. We don't know when they're coming out. I'm telling you what's happening here and now. If you're happy to give your money to developers who are saying, yeah, we're going to add it in, and not question it and not be like, why was this not in the first place? We're in 2025. This would have barely been acceptable in 2005. Where is it? If you're okay doing that, do that. That's fine. I ain't got no problem with it. I don't hate anyone for buying this game, but I'm not on payroll. I'm never going to be on payroll with WB, given the things that I've said. And if they ever did put me on payroll, I would tell them, listen, you can pay me, but I'm not going to lie. There's no point. We can all see what's happening here. I've said this before, but some of you give me way too much credit. You really think I have the power to crush the reputation of Mortal Kombat, a franchise that has sold 80 million copies worldwide? You think Mike Hollow is the one that ruined the reputation of it? Because I've seen some of your comments. You think I'm ground zero for the hate that this game gets. I don't have that kind of sway. I don't have that kind of reputation. I don't have that kind of influence. I know my name gets brought up, but my influence does not go that far. What's happening here is that majority of people are waking up to the absolute bullshit that is being fed to them, and some of you just don't like it. Now, I know, first world problems, you know, it's not a big deal. I'm not angry or anything. I'm just trying to convey a message that I don't feel like we should be attacking content creators because they got early review copies and they said the game is good. You should just have enough common sense. You're obviously not always going to know when someone is lying, but MK has disappointed us so many times that when you hear somebody saying that this is the definitive retro collection, you know they're on payroll, or you know they're trying to get paid, or at the very least get into the good graces of this company. There's no gamer worth their salt that would boot this up and say, yeah, this is perfect. And then you got the people that just, they don't want to hear anything that I have to say. They don't want to hear criticism. Like I said with my sister Ellie earlier, we go into a film. She just wants to watch the film. She doesn't give a shit about how good or bad it is. She enjoys it for what it is. There's plenty of people like that. They're just like, Mike, I don't want to hear this, man. I just want to press some buttons and go about my business. Fair play to you. This probably isn't the place for you. If you come here, I will tell you exactly what I think. Now, like I said, there are some good points about this.
And that is the key point he said right there. If you come here, not forced, choice. This is why when people get upset and go, you just, you know, how dare you, you know, do this or say that, like they're being force fed this stuff. He just said it. When you come here, your choice. You choose it, not the other way around.
Game, but the meat and potatoes are bad. It is bad. It is bad across the board. But because this has been happening to Mortal Kombat fans for so long now, even if you hear your favorite content creator saying it's perfect and then you buy the game and you're disappointed, it is now your fault. Going around calling people shills when we have been getting shorthanded by NRS and the Mortal Kombat team for however long now, it's your fault now. If I pre-order the next product and it's shit, that's my fault. It doesn't matter who I go and listen to. Those people are trying to feed their families. I'm not even mad at them. When you go to your 9 to 5, let's say you work in a hotel and the hotel beds have got whatever's bed bugs, too many bed bugs in there. They haven't cleaned the sheets. And your manager says to you, you better not say anything. You better not say anything. You just give people their key and you send them to their room and you tell them that we do great service here. You're going to do exactly as your manager says because you got bills to pay. Some of these.
Hang on, wait. I just realized something. Did Mike become a seafood? Like his garb, right? What? Has he been doing kung fu or something? Looks good. I always like kung fu uniforms. They look great. But anyway, let's get to
content creators and some of these players have bills to pay and people are just going to have to accept that. I accepted that. I stopped doing the shield videos a long time ago because I get it. Life can be hard. You got a golden ticket from a big company and it's your favorite game. You ain't going to be over here trying to like appease people. You're not. You're just not. When I decided to start posting my videos, I knew what I was sacrificing because I know people in the gaming industry. I've had people in the gaming industry saying to me, Mike, I can't come on your podcast because of the things that you talk about and how you talk about certain games. And they'll say to me, we know you're not lying, but we can't come on there because the company's going to get angry. And I get it. Like I said, I've spoken to plenty of content creators across the fighting game scene, and they all say the same thing. So don't get mad at content creators, get mad at yourself. I got mad at myself when I bought MK1 and Tekken 8. I will not be buying collections from these people anymore. That trust is out of the window, and it should be for you guys as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good video, man. Sifu Mike. Yeah, no, and it's true. Like, yeah, I mean, you probably noticed, I haven't really talked about shills or anything like that for a long time, really. I don't think I have anyway. Because the thing is, though, that, like, you're not going to be able to change people's behaviors too. They're going to do what they do regardless of what you say or what you do. They don't give a shit. And they're way too big. You're like an ant, right? But I guess I always come back to that sort of that. The thing is, though, that we also have a choice about who we watch too, yeah? So, you know, if you don't feel as the viewer, sort of like, you know, getting what you want out of the creator, it's perfectly fine to move on too. You know, that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you'll say things people like, and other times you'll say things that people don't like. And as the viewer, the customer, even though it's free, they have the choice then to go, okay, you know, we're going to support these people. We're not going to support these people with our view, you know, to get them views and stuff like that. I guess it just comes down to, like, I think we're starting to see who the people are. And, you know, maybe on surface level, or like, yeah, okay, you know, they're good for news, right? But if you really want the nitty gritty, there are content creators out there that really do get into it without holding back, because, and I think this is very freeing, that because you're not beholden to, you know, contracts or corporation interests or whatever. I think it is very freeing that you can just sit there and go, this is how I feel about it. And that's it. That's it. I don't care about, you know, oh my God, I upset Warner Brothers. I won't get flown out to look at their latest MK slop. Because I always think that the best position we all have is being the customer. And that is the greatest strength. Not being flown out, not doing this, not doing that for myself. Right? That is my true power that I have. And it's the only power that I have to affect change, whether it be by not purchasing something, refunding like I did, or simply just getting on YouTube or sharing an opinion, or on Steam forums or on Twitter or wherever. You know, customer, they can't survive without us, right? That's a fact. And there are plenty of other games out there for us to enjoy. It's not like it's the only game ever made. But shout out to Mike Holl. I'll post a link in the description for his video. Sifu Mike, I need some information on that martial. It looks like a martial art gi, kung fu gi. It probably isn't, but you know what I'm saying. All right. Anyway, catch you next time.